Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, they're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship, and we have a special guest who's not been here for a couple of years apparently, so it's much too long.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. That's Mandy Amos from MR Performance Horses. Mandy, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit of your background before we ask you all the questions that we have.
Okay, well, I moved to Florida when I was about 20 years old to gallop racehorses, and it was...
So 5 years ago?
Yes, 5 years ago.
We love you, Pete.
You know, it might have been 6.
Okay.
Might have been 6. And was galloping racehorses for a whole year. It was a tough time not having any barrel horses with me, but it was a lot of growing up to do, and it was a good time.
Lots of lessons to be learned in galloping racehorses.
Yep, so that was great. And then I shipped down one of my finest horses, which I'm sure Rory will talk about. It was Cash as a 2-year-old, and kind of trained him and dabbled into the barrel horses, getting back in them, and actually did a lot with thoroughbreds off the track.
I love off the track thoroughbreds.
Yeah, we, Rex and I, started dating 6 years ago. And we'd get a lot of thoroughbreds off the track and put a handle on them, sell them for polo ponies and show horse prospects. And that's kind of how we started working with the horses and then getting into the quarter horses. And rented a farm and trained some horses, rented stalls, trained horses, and then eventually got our own farm and been training horses since.
Amazing.
Very good.
Yep,
Yeah.
Rex keeps busy shoeing horses, selling trucks, and I ride barrel horses. Stopped riding thoroughbreds about, well, Rory's 8, so my little 6 years ago is kind of going to be a little bit of a lie. So we're lying a little bit there, but yeah, I stopped galloping racehorses a little bit after my daughter was born, and just mostly been doing thoroughbreds since, and some sales with DAC products,
Yes.
7 saddles, and some other stuff. So stay pretty busy.
Talk to us a little bit about DAC.
Well, I've been with DAC for 10 years, since 2014, when I was out on the rodeo road with Maximum Gold my rookie year. And I've just used so many of their products over the years.
I have as well. Really
Lots.
impressive.
I've pretty much tried everything, and they've come out with some new good stuff that I really like. The poultice has been super popular.
They actually have July. They have this on sale.
Yes, and I was talking with I was talking with Tiffany this morning, messaging her, and I'm ready to put in another big order. The DAC pasture licks are super. We use those a lot with the horses turned out all the time, and I think one of my new favorites is the laser sheen. Some friends who train horses also were like, you carry this? I'm like, I haven't gotten that product yet. And Rory's little mare has a dry mane and tail, and it's just a lot. She sweats, she's a hot horse, and I started using this product. I spray her mane morning and night. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Really?
So,
Seen an amazing difference.
yeah, really love it. So the poultice is super popular. We use
You're right, it is. I've heard a lot of feedback.
Yep.
I have not used it, but I've heard a lot of good things about the poultice.
I usually buy a pallet of the poultice. The DAC pasture licks are pretty popular. The horses love them.
The electrolytes are great because they don't have added sugar.
Yep, no sugar in the electrolytes. So that's, my horses get the electrolytes year round. It's just something to not go
You live
without.
in Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Hot and
winter,
hotter.
Where winter can be summer in one day.
absolutely, it can be 90 and 20, in 2 different days.
So
or 12
just for
hours.
people that aren't familiar with barrel racing, tell us a little bit of the rules and what you're timed and how you go about it.
Okay, well, the barrel races, it's pretty simple. My husband reminded me last weekend, it is a speed event.
It's fast. I was about to say, well, I can tell you right now it's fast.
Yeah, it is a speed event. So the cool thing with the barrel racing is there's so many different entry levels. Like there's the NBHAs and the local shows, the cloverleaf pattern. It's great for the family.
Now that's
Everybody
fast.
can do it. This is Harley. She's a cool little mare I got to put some training on, and got to steal her for a rodeo at the EBA finals. She did phenomenal. But yeah, so there's rodeos, there's super shows, slot races. You can keep it as small as you want or as big as you want. I mean, the sky's the limit. This is Rory's horse Cash. He's super cool. Bought him as a yearling out of South Dakota. He's now 20.
Right-hander.
20. Wow.
Yep. So
he looks
he's
extremely
pretty
well.
Cool. Yep. He was the 2D state champion in that video. So there's just so many levels. If you want to stay local and just do the shows local through your NBHA and different, there's so many different associations now. Or if you want to travel the country, you can really do so much.
So you can do as much or as little as you
can
choose to.
You know,
You can do it for fun, or you can get serious.
Yeah, a lot of people do it for a hobby. A lot of people, make a living selling horses, training horses. You got to be winning to make a living training the horses doing it. But yeah, selling the horses and taking them to the next level. There's
So
a lot
what's the
to
penalty for knocking a barrel down?
So for the barrel races, the rodeos you can get a +5. Like you can actually, if it's a small rodeo, you can place with a +5. I've seen that before. Most of the barrel
+5 would be penalties.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And most of the barrel races, it's a no time if you hit a barrel.
Is it?
Really?
Yep. No time. So really want to keep the barrels up. But yeah, some of the rodeos +5, and if they're small enough, I've seen you place with a +5.
So when you're heading at a barrel and you're thinking about how fast you're going, how hard is it to calculate? I always look and I watch so closely to see how close they come to the barrels, but it's got to be so hard to estimate how actually fast you can go and turn without knocking it over. I always think that must be the hardest part.
Yeah, the good horses, they just make it happen. It's just easy. It's some that are maybe a little green or a little not as confident, and just getting your timing right, it is tough. And then
That's action right there.
that horse is a new one of mine, and the timing, I'm either turning on top of the barrels or maybe running by them. So that's still a work in progress.
That's
And
incredible.
She doesn't want to hit a barrel to save her life. She is a saint. She's amazing. She
beautiful, too.
won a lot of money at the finals that weekend. She had never really been to a rodeo, and I retired my old horse, Maximum Gold. And one of my good friends I said, hey, can I borrow your horse? She's like,
What's
are you
her name?
serious? Streak a Bunny, but we
Streak a
call her
Bunny.
Harley because she thinks she's a Harley Davidson sometimes, I guess. But yeah, she did phenomenal. I think we got third in the average, second in the short go. She placed and stepped up and really ran hard. She was pretty amazing. It was an awesome weekend.
So about what age do you like to start them around the barrels?
That's
And
a
it
little
changes,
controversial,
yes.
but like if I have it and can do it my way, I want to start them as a yearling, late in the yearling, November, December, even October. Put a saddle on them, pony them, do my groundwork, my ground driving, put a few rides on them, kick them out for a little bit, bring them back as a 2-year-old, do some more light riding, and start them on the barrels late 2-year-old, early 3-year-old, depending. And then usually we start, if you're going to do the futurities, which is an aged event, futurities and derbies, you usually start November 15th to have them running. I'm never usually yeehawing at November 15th. Like, we're just kind of little slower getting them going, which is fine. I usually strive to try and make a rodeo horse for down the road and bring them on at their own. But some are ready. Rory's little horse was ready coming out of the starting gate credit. November 15th, she was ready to rock and roll. It just kind of depends on the horse and their mentality, what they can handle mentally and physically.
And then, of course, being on the road is...
Yep, I try
Something for
to
horses
stay
to-
a little bit more local here. We haven't really ventured out to any of the big futurities, which they have everywhere, and all the incentives, so there's so much opportunity. We haven't gotten quite there yet. Mostly stay local with Rory. She's still in school, and she's just starting to dabble in the youth rodeos, so that's a whole nother cup of tea. Gonna have to try and juggle it all, but eventually I'd like to get back out there and do some more rodeos.
That's wonderful. Well, that, Winnie, means we have to go to break. We have some goodies for you, but we'll give them to you and Rory in the next segment.
We like goodies.
Yes, because we are going to have Rory join us next. So
Ooh.
stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. We're adding a seat and adding a young lady who is an equestrian herself. Excited to introduce you to her. We'll be right back.